What is the wildest thing you've ever done? Matt? Good morrow, everybody. My name is Robin, also known as Sunny Side Up Gal, and you are my Sunny Side Up pal. Good morning. Good morning.
Cruel.
Good morrow. Good morning and hello. Welcome. Welcome to my Chanel.
Chanel.
Hello. Today we listen. Today is going to be a little bit of a different episode. Let's get comfy. Today we're going to be doing a Q&A. I asked you folks, both member and non-member, to just throw some questions at me in a community post tab, and I'm going to be answering them on camera. And we're just going to sit, we're going to chit, and we're going to chat, and try to have a little fun with it. The reason why I decided to do this is I did get quite a bit of followers in the last week thanks to just collaborating with Melina of Honey Bison and also collaborating with Angelica, but that's as per usual. I would have to thank Melina for the slight growth that I've achieved in the last week, which is not a crazy amount, but it's enough to warrant, a little bit of an intro, a little bit of a get to know me, Also, it's Sunday and I don't have like a ton of time. Like the weekend's almost over. I've been on vacation for a week and I'm working on other smaller like videos, not smaller videos. I'm working on other like niche videos on specific like fat activist creators, and I just don't have the capacity to take care of those right now. But because I'm a consistent baddie, I want to make sure that I have content for you folks this week. So I'm pretty entertaining by myself, and I figured let's just like get to know each other. So I'm going to be answering some questions from the community post, and feel free to answer them yourselves in the comments. And yeah, just have some fun with it. I love to interact with you guys in the comment section, so don't be shy. And that said, if you are new here and you're not already a subscriber, go ahead and consider giving me a subscribe. If you haven't already liked the video, go ahead and like the video, because I already know you're going to like the video. I think I'm pretty entertaining. That's not even just me smelling my own farts or anything. I actually do think I'm doing pretty okay. For the noobs, come here, girl. Let me show you this is the real star of the show. Come here, girl. This is my girl. She's naked. I took her collar off. This is my girl. Her name is Polly. Oh, she's sitting beauty. She's sitting beauty. All right, this is my little girl, Polly. She is a Staffordshire Terrier. She's a pit bull, but she's a Staffy. That's what it says on her birth certificate. Staffordshire Terrier. She's tiny. She's tiny. And we think that she is a Boston Terrier mix. She is the best dog I've ever had. We're dog people in this house. Okay, regardless. If you don't know anything about me, I am a anti-fat acceptance girly. I was not a true blue member of the fat acceptance community, but I was a sufferer, and I currently still am obese, but I was obese for a while. Most of my life, I did have a cancer scare from that, and so I've turned my life around. I'm starting to lose weight, and now I'm on here on the internet, on YouTube, fighting the fat acceptance community one episode, one giggle, one fart at a time. Okay, but anyway, let's get to know me. More about me. All right, so the post says better fat than fascist, and then I put in the text post, picture for attention, filming a Q&A later. Please send me your itching questions. We can get deep. Love y'all, and me do love y'all. And this is not the members post. This is just like the regulars posts, the babies, the regular babies posts. You know? All right, so Peg, Mama Peg 1381. Ooh, this is actually kind of far for me to see. Thank you very much, Mama Peg, for sending these over. I think she sent multiple posts, so cool. All right. What do you think is the best action we collectively can take to make headway against the fat acceptance / health at every size? So I think one of the best actions we could do would be calling out people in, I guess a respectful way, but I mean, a lot of the fat acceptance community, they don't really see any kind of like accountability as respectful or as anything other than bullying. But I would say like when you see somebody doing a fat acceptance post or like a fat acceptance, like, just even giving like a hint of fat acceptance rhetoric. You guys seem pretty knowledgeable. You can tell people if like they're spreading misinformation. So I think calling out the spreading of misinformation on public forum or public reels or posts of these fat acceptance, influencers. I also think us ourselves working towards living in healthier body types and acknowledging like if we aren't, why. Do you know what I mean? So like, no excuses. If we're holding these people accountable, then we have to be accountable as well. So there's not really a ton of excuses that we should have or should be spouting off. I think if we're going to be if we're going to speak out against fat acceptance or health at every size, then we also have to be working towards a healthier body as well. All right, what is your most wild what is your most wild hear me out? So so I am what people would call like, there's like this group called like a monster fucker, and I think that like some monsters are like bad. I always feel like the bad guys or the villains are like hot, or like, and I'm talking about like in movies and stuff. Like obviously Darkness from Legend is beautiful.
And talk with me. My soul. My love.
But Tim Curry is also a beautiful guy. So that my first crush on like a cartoon, like we all had crushes on cartoons, and if you hadn't, I'm sorry, I don't know how to address that. But my first crush was the Lord Mal from the 1989 continuation of the Snow White and Seven Dwarfs story. So you guys may know what I'm talking about. If you don't, I'll post the picture up, and maybe even a clip.
So for those of you who feel perplexed and want to know what happens next, we are proud to present, for your fun and delight, the continuing story of the Prince and Snow White.
Because it's for free on YouTube if you want to watch it. You might even remember it, but it's Snow White and the Seven Dwarf Elves, so like they're girl versions of the dwarves, and Lord Mal is like, I don't know, I always thought he was so handsome. I was like, I think I'm gonna marry an evil king one day.
What's going on here?
You invite him?
Sex on legs, baby.
But it's kind of funny, like when you look at him now, he looks a little bit like my husband. I feel like every person or thing, or like anytime I've ever had like a crush on like a movie character or a person, they've always kind of looked like my husband, and then I've ended up marrying obviously I married my husband, but like every time I've had like crush on like anybody in a movie, they always kind of look like my husband, or they have like my husband's like similarities, like big buggy eyes, big nose, crooked teeth. He doesn't have really crooked teeth anymore because he got braces, but like I've always liked a quirky smile. All right, micro bangs for everyone or just the cool girls? No, really. Fashion wise, beauty wise, who do you think micro bangs flatter the best? Anybody who has been following me for a while, what do you guys think about my haircut? I did premiere it on an episode with Angelica Unfiltered. Basically what I wanted was, so obviously I have a wave. I don't know, can y'all see that? Let's lower the let's check the filters really quick. Color correction. Let's lower the gamma really quick. Oh, okay. So you can see I do have a bit of a texture. I've got a wave, a natural wave, but my hair was why is it so dark? Is that better? I feel like I look like a ghost. Whatever. I have a bit of a natural wave in my hair, and because my hair was so long, it was like weighing it down. I also have fine hair and it's thin, so I went and asked for more layers, but I didn't want like a mullet, and I wanted to keep it long. She did cut it shorter than I wanted. It's just hair, it'll grow back, and I like the bangs. I don't really mind when they're super short. I know some people are like,
those are brave,
but it's so easy to have bangs like this. I'm a bit of a quirky gal. I feel like these match my personality a little bit. I've had bangs since I was like a little girl, and I go through phases where I want to grow these out. I want to have no bangs, and then I'm like, oh my god, I miss my bangs. Then I get the bangs again, and I'm just getting more and more brave with the bangs. Anyway, that said, I got more bangs and layers, and the layers help show off my natural wave more than like having long weighed down hair. Also, this is gelled. This is not gelled. I don't remember what this is. I know it's dirty. All right, so for micro bangs, you have to, I think they look really good on like a heart-shaped face. So you have to, they kind of balance out like a sharp chin. So if you've got like I mean, I know I'm still very moon-faced. I still have chub to my face, but I feel like that's me being fat, but also me being Asian. But you have to have a chin for a micro bang. But I mean, there are different shapes to micro bangs that can balance out like a rounder face too. So I don't know. I feel like high cheekbones work really, really well. Square faces, a heart-shaped face, like a diamondy chin. You have to be somebody who is willing to like work on your eyebrows. Like obviously mine aren't always that great, but I do comb them and fill them in when I can, and I always have an arch. But they are also, I mean, I would say also they're for alt people. Like they're for people, I mean, you wouldn't go, I don't think you would go to like an opera. I don't know. I feel like they're also I mean, not saying that like my bangs are like a part of my personality, but they are an extension of me. Like people, when you get micro bangs, people start to go, oh, the girl with the bangs, or the guy with the bangs, whoever, the person with the bangs, oh, the girl with the bangs, you know, they kind of become a little bit of your personality. They're also for people who are quirky. Like, I don't know how else to describe that. They're for people who have a little spunk, if that makes sense. So yeah, maybe yes, cool people, but I mean, cool is subjective. It's not everybody, you know, who rocks baby bangs or micro bangs are cool. But as far as, yes, micro bangs, if you've got like great cheekbones, micro bangs are a great way to show off them cheekbones. If you're really good at eyebrows, another great way to show off your eyebrows. But I think it's like you have to understand that it's going to show more of your face. So if you've got great facial features, cheekbones, great lips, you know, or you're trying to balance out something that maybe you might be insecure about. I am chinny. I'm a little insecure about my chin. And I think having micro bangs kind of like elongates my face a little bit. I don't know if that makes sense, but I really do, because I'm going to show you guys my forehead. So my bangs, it looks like my head starts here. So like my face looks a little bit more elongated, but like my bangs, they're not that long. Inch and a half, I don't know, but it looks like my head starts higher, so my face looks a little bit more long. Is that, you know, I don't know, but they're not that long. Like my face is rounder than it looks, and the baby bangs kind of make it look longer. But also I'm doing it for quirkiness though. I'm not doing it, here's what I am doing. I'm doing it for laziness mostly. I don't want to fiddle faddle and struggle with bangs. I had curtain bangs for a while, and I was like, you know, every morning doing something with my bangs, but these are nice because I can just jump out of the shower, form them where I want them to go, and they'll dry, and my life is just so much easier with a baby bang. And then also, like, I like messy hair, so the messier the bang, when you like messy hair, and then you get like really messy, like choppy bangs, and it just kind of meshes together. But surfing or skydiving, neither. I don't know how to surf. I would never jump out of a plane. So I guess surfing, but neither. I would never jump out of a plane. I feel like skydiving is like, I don't know, 50-50 chance that you might not make it. I'm good. Nicknames for your fur babies and how they got them. So Duncan, his full name is Duncan Wilbur, and Polly's name is Paulina Audrina Pocket. So Polly, let's start with Duncan because we got him first. Duncan is, when we first picked him up, we couldn't think of a name. Michael ended up naming him, and we actually named him, and it's spelled Duncan. Duncan, not Duncan like Dunkin' Donut. It's Duncan, Duncan, like the yo-yo. But he's named after a famous like thinker, podcaster, Duncan Trussell. He's also the like he created the cartoon Midnight
Gospel. Simulation farmers, this is the pyro moth keeping you warm on the ribbon and cool in your heart.
So Duncan Trussell is this famous like podcast thinker. He's like friends with Joe Rogan. He like does acid and stuff. Like he just looks really super cool guy and super spiritual, super like, you know, multiversey guy. But he did the show called
Midnight Gospel.
and it was really sick. I recommend it. I think it's still on Netflix if you have Netflix, but the last episode, there's an episode where so basically Midnight is him like interviewing people on his podcast and he's like turned it into cartoons. There's one, well, I don't know if every single episode's like that, but there's an episode where he's interviewing his mom who's passed away already, and he like eternalized her into this cartoon, and they're talking about death. And like, if you don't know me, I am like sort of slightly obsessed with death. I'm not obsessed with death. I am comfortable with death, and I find beauty in death. And like, my brother died when I was 16, so I'm very, very comfortable with death. I'm super fascinated with the afterlife. Like, I don't have any, you know, I don't want to go there anytime soon, but I find beauty in death because that's the only thing that's really like guaranteed in life. So that episode just like destroyed me.
It prepares us for death.
I know this transfigure. I know, but come on. There's no way to stop the heartbreak. What do you do about that?
You cry. You cry.
Beautiful though. But we named Duncan after that. My husband is a big fan of Duncan Trussell. And then when we got Polly, the day that we were looking for Polly, we were actually in a town it's like a bougie town that's like an hour north of us, like an hour northeast of us. And we were looking, it's the only place that has a world market, and we wanted to get like some fancy, there's another like olive oil place by them too, but we wanted to get fancy olive oil because mommy likes olive oil. And then we were like, oh, let's see if there's like a dog shelter near us. Like, let's go see if there's like a shelter near us. Like, let's take a look and see if we can find a dog. You know, I was looking for a small dog. Like, I wanted like a Chihuahua because I don't think I've ever told you guys, but I had a Chihuahua before I got Duncan and Polly, but she got ran over by a car. So she was a Beagle Chihuahua mix. And like she was also maybe a Dachshund as well. The thing with like Beagles, Dachshunds, they will follow their nose. They dig. So she was a digger. She would dig under the fence all the time. But they follow their nose, and she basically followed her nose. Anyway, she got ran over. I found her. It sucked. It destroyed me. But I've always loved Chihuahuas, even though they're like the most evil dog, right? I feel like if I was a dog, I would be a Chihuahua or a pit bull. But anyway, so I was looking for a Chihuahua or like a Yorkie. Like, I really wanted a Yorkie or like some kind of a mix, maybe like a nice mix, just like a small dog. Like, I didn't want a big dog. I didn't want a dog that shed a lot, but we wanted to get another dog because our older dog, Rudy, who was like my first dog after I got out of high school.
Remember me, though I have to travel far, remember me. Each time you hear a sad guitar, know that I'm with you the only way that I can be. Until you're...
But Rudy was like, he had his paw on the door. Like, we were like, he's going to go soon. Like, we already had like a false time to go moment with him. Like, he was just holding on basically. And, I mean, he wasn't decrepit or anything like that. We just were like, oh my God, this guy is like so old. Like, he can't hear anymore. And he had that problem with he had a problem with his stomach. And so we were just like, we'll see if we can get like a third dog, and that way when Rudy goes, because we had a feeling that he was going to go any day, and Duncan won't be alone because Duncan he doesn't like to be alone. So anyway, we got Polly. We named her Olive Oil. So her birth certificate, well, I've updated it already, but her adoption papers say Olive Oil. And we were calling her Olive Oil, but we kept calling her Ollie. And then one day we were just like, she doesn't really seem like an olive oil, or I think Ollie fits her more because she was just so spunky, just like me. And so they were like, let's call her Polly. And then Polly Pocket fit because she's like, there's this huge pocket pit bull situation going on in Central Florida. And so we think that she might be from a pocket pit bull like breeding ring. I don't know. She's tiny. She's looks like a pit bull. I'm pretty sure she's mostly staffy. We haven't done her her DNA. She looks like a pit bull. She's tiny though. Like she's this one of the smallest dogs I've ever had. Like she's only like 23 pounds or something like that. Pure muscle. But anyway, we're like, let's call her Polly Pocket. And then I am so special, or I'm so extra that I was like, her name's going to be Paulina Audrina Pocket, like a princess, because she's also a princess. Like we only get her pink collars. But anyway, so that's where their nicknames come from. Polly Pocket and Dunky. Oh, we started calling Duncan Dunky. Rock, paper, scissors. Scissors. Okay, so this is from Machaman. Who do you think would win in a fist fight between Fat William Hornby and Tess Holiday? Loser has to eat keto for the rest of their life. All right, so I feel like it would be William that would win. A fist fight. I feel like William would win, obviously, because he's a dude. Because I'm sorry, that's just what happens. But and I would love to see Tess Holiday be on a keto diet, and because she's got such a beautiful face, and if she lost all the weight, she would be like unstoppable basically. I mean, obviously she would have all that extra skin, but she probably could afford to get the skin removal. But anyway, if a fist fight between William Hornby and Tess Holiday, I'm pretty sure William would win. That's just biology to me. Like, I just feel, I mean, I'm fatter than Michael, and if Michael and I got into a fist fight, I'm pretty sure Michael would win too. So is that wrong to say? I shouldn't say that. I would say William. I'm just going to answer blatantly. I would feel like William Hornby. That just seems like logic. I think it's because he's a man. I don't think Tess Holiday is putting in any work to be a fighter, right? William Hornby would win, and then Tess would have to be keto, and she would get so snatched and lose all the weight super fast and be unstoppable. So maybe that's a bad idea. I know this sounds very 2017, but would you ever be open to an anti-fat acceptance con? I know the movement is still pretty small right now, but you never know it. It could grow. I'd seriously love to meet you and the team, and by team I mean Angelica, Alex, Lotlips, Honey Bison, etc. Or we could even have some actually healthy food catered as well. Oh yeah, let's do it down here. We have like this place called Fresh Kitchen that Michael and I are like obsessed with. Holy shit, you guys, I would love that. But yeah, I would be down to something like that eventually in the future. It's too early to think about that now. Because also, if we're thinking logically, our goal as like anti-fat acceptance activists is to, the fat acceptance movement to kind of like, no longer be around very much longer. Not that they, disappear, but like, our goal is to not have that anymore, to not have fat acceptance, and if fat acceptance like dies off, then maybe our movement would die off as well. That's, that's just like logical thinking. But if it comes to it, yeah, I would be down to do like a con or something like that, or just like a meet and greet. You know what I mean? Like, we're not really that huge, and not everybody can like travel, so it would be like I feel like it would be like a small amount of people for like a meet and greet. But I would be down. I know that keto started like that. People were talking when the keto community kind of like started blowing up. Now they have keto cons, and now they have meat cons, and I would have never thought that they would ever get up that big. So yeah, it's a possibility. So that was from that one mom 2016, and then Matcha Man said going to Fat Con with the girls would be fun content, and I was like, that would be so fun. I said, bahaha, like we crashed Fat Con. I said, try to kick us out, but we paid. And I was talking about how we would have to. I kind of want to do it now. Like I kind of want to bust through and like crash Fat Con, but take Michael with me. Oh my God, he would have a great time. But you know what also I'm afraid of too is like, I don't think that they get a lot of like the best spaces, and I feel like they would be hot and I would be hot, and like when you have a lot of like folds and like rolls and like hotness and like people who can't reach very well. I'm not saying everybody who's fat can't reach very well, but I've been around morbidly obese people before. If you're hot and you can't reach very well, there's going to be some smells. So I might not be able to do it, but it would be fun. In another dimension, I am doing it. Okay. I gotta zoom this shit in. Mommy has to zoom this in. I'm fucking blind. Alexander underscore Yoko, do you think the body positivity movement can be saved? I was part of it before fat acceptance took over. Such a shame. Body positivity used to be a good movement. Do I think that body positivity could be saved? I do. I think that there's hope for every kind of movement that kind of has like deviated from its original, Can I think of any right now? Not really. But I think that movements like ours are doing our part in calling out like, hey, body positivity isn't just about fat acceptance. Body positivity is for all bodies, basically, which, I mean, I did that little bit of research where we found out that body positivity was about weight. Like, I think it first started with like the movement trying to like prevent young girls from like getting or giving into beating recorders. So, I mean, I think that weight is part of it. However, fat acceptance and body positivity need to be completely like separated. Fat acceptance and body positivity. Fat acceptance is harmful. Body positivity is harmful only because of fat acceptance. As far as all the other stuff, all the other aspects and like components of body positivity, like I accept my body for where in the state that it's currently belonging in. I don't think that that's a bad thing. I accept my body. I'm missing legs. I'm missing limbs. I accept my body for that. Things that I can't change. Vitiligo, psoriasis, right? Things like that. Being a ginger. Things like that. I think as long as we stick to our guns and we always acknowledge that like being fat and accepting fat and fatness and calling it what it isn't, which is healthy,
Is wrong and harmful.
is going to help the body positivity movement. So yes, I do believe the body positivity movement will be saved. I'm confident that it will be, because we're always going to need body positivity. What we don't need is fat acceptance, because that is a harmful movement. I believe it's a cult, right? Fat acceptance, fat liberation is like deadly, because excess adipose tissue on your body is deadly. So I don't think that movements like that belong in actual like helpful movements like body positivity. I don't think body positivity is bad. The only things that are harmful in body positivity are the movements that have like taken over, like fat acceptance. So fat acceptance took over body positivity, and now anytime somebody's like, I'm body positive, you think that they're like okay with 500-pound people not doing anything for their health, which that's never okay. It's never okay to accept that. I don't think it's okay to accept being 500 pounds. That's scary. You should love yourself, but love yourself in a way that makes it so that you're not 500 pounds. Not love yourself in the way that makes it so that you don't feel like you have to do anything about being 500 pounds. That's scary. It's deadly. It's deadly. If you accept being 500 pounds, you accept no longer being on this planet for as long as you could possibly be. And that's that. Okay. What was your fuck I'm fat, this has to change moment or moments? I remember like throwing my back out, trying to tie my shoes, and that's from Amber Lynn's Amygdala. My holy shit, I'm fat, I need to make a change moment was one, I've mentioned this before, I was in the emergency room parking lot and I was eating for a migraine, thinking that I had a brain tumor, and I was eating like an entire bag of Haribo gummies by myself. So that was one where I was like, oh, this is fat behavior. And then another one was basically like medical emergencies. So I had the cancer scare. But as far as like moments aside from medical emergencies, I remember one time my friends were all going hiking, and no, they were going to go caving, and I was like down to go, but they told Michael, for what I can remember, we were drinking a ton, but they were like, we don't think that Robin can do it safely. So I think that was like a problem. I remember my feelings getting hurt, but then I was thinking like, do I really want to get drunk and go like caving? No. So that was one like where people felt like I couldn't be safe in the wild, basically, or like doing hiking. Another one, I think anytime that from one summer to another, I remember I had a pair of shorts, and then the very next summer, I think this is around COVID or after, the very next summer, they were like, it was like 2 inches, and I had gained 2 inches around my waist, and I couldn't even button my pants. I couldn't even pull them up over my legs. So I was like, that's a problem. Just things like that. Fuck, I'm fat. Fuck, I'm fat moments. I'm like trying to think of all the times that like I kind of thought about myself being a little too fat like almost all the time. I don't know. I can show pictures of myself like when I was like 210 pounds. And, you know, I didn't have a lot of like fat, like in weird places. So I'm trying to think about like other reasons why somebody would be like, you know, oh my God, I'm fat. And I didn't really catch fat on anything. I also didn't, I didn't really have like a bunch of back problems. I would say maybe I like, no, yeah, I don't. Just mainly like diabetes, the type 2 diabetes, like the pre-diabetes diagnosis, and like the struggle with like my insulin levels and my insulin resistance. Yeah, I don't think I ever really had like a I need to change moment except when it came to my health. So like finding out that I had precancerous lesions, being in the emergency room, eating like a fat fuck basically. Oh, discoloration on my neck. So I remember one time Michael was like, "What's on your neck?" And I had like insulin resistance. Sometimes I'm still like nervous, like if I still have it. I don't. But I had like black on my neck from being insulin resistant, and this is like after I was still under 100. I was under 200 pounds. I still had insulin resistance from like PCOS and stuff. So that was one. That was one too, where I was like, "Girl, you just need to like lose the fat. Like you need to lose the body weight. The body fat is like causing the hormonal like the hormonal problems. Like I need to burn the fat. You're still insulin resistant, and it's from the excess fat. Like stop. Let's fix this, right?" But yeah, so I had the black around my neck. That's called acanthosis nigricans, and I used to have it so bad, you guys. I remember having it so bad. It was all in my armpits. I don't have it anymore in my armpits. That's just body hair basically, but it's all, and like just rubbing, all black from like here to like down here. This was like when I was in high school. But I had a black neck. I had black from like here all the way down to like my boobs. I didn't have any on my boobs or on my face or on my knuckles or anything like that. Like some people do get that on their boobs, face, and knuckles. I had it in between, in my groin area, and I think that was basically it. And I had always thought it was from rubbing. Like I thought that was from my bra rubbing my armpit. I thought it was from my legs rubbing my armpit. But as soon as you lose the weight and like stop being insulin resistant, like it goes away. You know what I mean? So I don't have this crazy black velvety skin around my neck anymore. And if I do, you know, throw me in the hole, right?
Mister, my family will pay cash. Whatever ransom you're asking for, they'll pay it.
But I don't. Okay.
Put the fucking lotion in the basket!
Ooh, tell me how you got into making videos. How did you learn to edit? What equipment do you use? How does it feel to be such a skinny legend? That's from Mars Apollo. I'm not a skinny legend. I'm still obese, especially after this week. I did cheat on our diet yesterday, but I didn't cheat all week. But we cheated. It's Sunday today, and we cheated yesterday. And I had Cold Stone. And Melina, if you're watching, I did not get the birthday cake remix because I was a little afraid of the frozen pieces of frosting that you had told me about. But I do love birthday cake. However, I got they have a non-sugar added vanilla ice cream, so I was making good choices there. So I did non-sugar added, so like no sugar added vanilla ice cream with Oreo cookies and gummy bears, so like a worms and dirt situation, which I was craving worms and dirt. I'm always craving worms and dirt, honestly. But yeah, I did like a little worms and dirt situation yesterday. I got a like it size because I'm trying not to get diabetes back again, but my blood sugar was high the rest of the night and it was still high this morning. So there's a threshold that I can do. I can do half of a gigantic cookie. I cannot do an entire thing of ice cream. All right. And that's okay. You know, we're still working on ourselves. But anyway, yes, we cheated on our diet yesterday. And today we're back to keto because we're healed. We are not, you know, there's balance. You can have balance in your life. You can have a fucking thing of ice cream once a month, right? Okay, how did I get into making videos? I am a ham. Mommy likes to hear herself talk. And since 2018, like when Instagram started doing stories, I was like always on stories. And then when Reels kind of came around, I was always like trying to gain a following on Instagram for keto. But then the market kind of got like saturated. My main goal was to always like go to YouTube, but I was always kind of like nervous. First of all, it seems impossible. Like you think like, oh my God, nobody's gonna watch my videos. Like I'm not that interesting. But then I started making videos and I guess some of you guys do think I'm pretty interesting. No, I think also like marketing and like, you know, I made friends with Angelica and she was, and we weren't even like friends. We weren't even besties yet, but she was like, you know, you've got some pretty interesting things to say. Like you should totally go for it. It's not that hard. And I was already like, you know, making some I'll post some I'll post some of my reels so you can see like where my editing was going before.
Did you know your body can burn butter better than bread? Here's why high-fat eating melts body fat. When you swap carbs for fat, insulin drops, and that's the green light for your body to pull energy from storage. No more sugar spikes, no more crashes, just steady energy and real fat loss. Fat keeps you full for hours, protects your muscle, and turns you into a fat-burning machine.
I want to burn.
Eat fat, burn fat.
Did you know, in medieval times, butter was so valuable, people literally locked it away in safes or even believed it could be stolen with magic? In old Irish and Scandinavian folklore, butter theft wasn't just about someone sneaking into your house and stealing butter from your fridge. People believed witches could steal your butter just by skimming the morning dew and whispering spells over your churn. If I was a witch, I'd be a butter witch. In some places, butter was worth so much, families literally locked it away because stealing fat meant stealing survival. It got so bad that people started putting iron nails in their butter because they believed that iron would, like, chew away a witch. But it also would stop theft. Me don't know how. Maybe a thief would look at your butter and be like, there's fucking nails in this. You can't use this butter. Butter theft is still a big deal today. Some stores literally put butter in anti-theft cases like they would for shaving supplies because it's that valuable. There's really only one brand of butter that I personally would lock away, and that's Tillamook. I stand by what I say. Tillamook butter is the best butter. If you're a Kerrygold gal, I'm sorry. That said, I haven't had Tillamook butter in probably 5 years because I moved away from Oregon and we don't carry it here in Florida. At least not where I be shopping. So the next time you grab a stick of butter, just remember you are purchasing liquid gold. Did you already know this fun fact? Or is this the wildest fact you've heard today? Drop a butter emoji in the comments if you love butter.
So I do love to edit, actually. If I wasn't doing a regular job and then YouTube, I would definitely be editing for people. I love editing. I would love to do editing for like the rest of my life. What got me into editing was just like doing my own edits. Like I love when I see it, what makes a really good edit to me is like just a random thing that'll make somebody that will first of all tie somebody in. So like zooming in a little bit or like cuts, right? But also maybe like a cool flash to a funny vine or like a funny line from a movie.
He called the shit poop.
Because that's how my brain works. So my brain, I'll hear something like, I'll be like, oh, my ribs. Oh, I bumped my ribs. And then I'll hear in my brain,
Chili's, my baby back ribs.
Barbecue sauce.
I don't know. Like sometimes I'll say holy shnikes and then I'll cut to like,
Holy shnikes!
So that's just how my brain works though. Like, so that's literally how my brain works. Sometimes I think in memes. If you look at like the group chat that I have with Angelica or my husband or whatever, most of my replies are like photos or of memes or like GIFs. Like I'll ask a question and then I'll send a GIF. Like that's just how my brain works. And I'm a movie lover, so I have quite a collection of like movie quotes in my brain. But that's what I do. How did I learn to edit? I was using my phone first. So CapCut is like an app on your phone, but I was using an app called, which I actually liked a little bit better than CapCut. It was just easier to like cut like specific parts of your video. It's a little bit more user friendly, but it's just like a little more cheap, I guess. Like CapCut's a little bit fancier than this one, but I was using one called UCut for a while, and all of my videos, even my long form videos, which I think I could only do like 10 or 15 minutes on the phone, like before I could upload. But most of my long form videos were edited on my phone before I decided to get serious and like do videos on my laptop and post on YouTube long form. So it's just self-taught basically, and it's fun. So that's why I like to do it. And I would say that my edits are pretty good. I'm not, going to toot my own horn or smell my own farts. I have a lot of fun with it, and that's all that matters. And if you guys are enjoying it too, then that's even better, right? So if I'm having fun with it, it's going to show, and you guys will also enjoy it. I think that's how it works, but whatever. What equipment did you use? Again, my phone, and then now I use OBS, CapCut. When I do collabs, I use Google Meet because it's free. When I first started YouTube, and I'm still like first starting YouTube, I'm still new, but I didn't want to like spend a ton of money. Obviously, Michael got me our microphones, but I was like, I don't want to get a new camera. I can just use my phone. This is my phone camera, and I'm using OBS, and there's an app called Droid Cam that connects with OBS like wirelessly. So free. Basically, I've had a ring light that my husband got me a while back for, I think, Christmas, that is falling apart but still works, so free. And then we have, when Michael was into like doing photography, we have some photo lights, so that's another one too, free. And we have this Focusrite, it's like an audio thing, also we didn't have to buy a new one, so basically free. But yeah, I didn't want to get new cameras or anything. I wanted to do this, like, how can I do YouTube? How can I start YouTube, get a following? How can I like market with other people without like spending too much money? Like, I didn't want to throw all of my gold into one project, basically. I wanted to do this. How could I do this affordably? And then as like, you know, I started gaining a little bit of revenue off of YouTube, then we got the mic. We got the extra mic, right? So that Michael and I could do episodes, which we are going to be doing episodes. And we got the nice, the XLR wires to hook up to the Focusrite. So, you know, you can start on your phone. If you have a lot of interesting things to say, people will listen. Even like sometimes I have audio issues and you guys are still like watching. So I appreciate you very much for sticking through any of like the tech issues, but I'm working with crumbs here, you guys. I'm not doing, you know, I'm not a professional yet. But yeah, I use the bare minimum basically. I think it's important to get a mic, right? I did have another mic, but it still wasn't that good. This is a good mic. This is a Shure MV7 Plus or something like that. It was like $200. I know I shouldn't share how much, but you're asking. So this was an expensive mic, but everything else I already had at home. And then the laptop we got for school, and then we quit school. So now I have to put it to use basically. But it was also a cheap laptop too. So yeah. How did I learn to edit? I taught myself. Okay, Mama Peg says, how are you so awesome? Listen, trauma makes me awesome. Trauma built the character brick by brick. Trauma and being raised by brothers and a single dad, and like, you know, your brother died.
He died.
All right, so Mama Peg again, favorite brands of hot sauce that you've had, or maybe what you look for in them. I got this new one from Trader Joe's and I'm eager to try it. Still need to find another one that you told me about. So I'm not a fan of Trader Joe's, like, but you know, I'm glad that you like them. But my favorite brand of hot sauce is Torchbearer. Unsponsored, but one day, oh my god, that would be the dream, right? Torchbearer has one called the Grim Reaper, or no, the Garlic Reaper, and it's kind of like a creamy one, but it's a garlic and California Reaper. It is a little bit creamy, but the way that they make hot sauce creamy is like with an oil. So that's another thing that I like to look for in a hot sauce, is an oil base, because it makes it spicier. So you can either do like a mustard, a vinegar, or an oil-based hot sauce. Those are like the top three, I think. I'm not a fan of like mustard hot sauce because mustard doesn't go with everything. I'm not going to put mustard on my rice. Well, I don't even eat rice, but I'm not going to put mustard on my noodles, right? And vinegar is, you know, appropriate. Like there's a Scorpion Tabasco sauce that I think is like very good. But what I look for in a hot sauce is always going to be a oil-based and a garlic. So if it's garlic and oil based, I'll probably just get it, right? It's going to be a little bit creamy maybe. And then as far as like my peppers go for, I usually, you know, habanero is like the type of heat that I like. Reaper, I went through like a Reaper phase and I was like, Reaper everything. Mommy wants hot sauce, right? But now it's more, I love a jalapeno for flavor, but I love a habanero for heat. And then I also can reach for Scorpion. I think Reaper's a little bit too hot sometimes, but sometimes it is appropriate. Like the garlic Reaper is a great hot sauce. Like that is my number. It's my favorite hot sauce. It's my favorite hot sauce. So maybe I do like a Reaper, but you know, it's just appropriate. Like I wouldn't do an entire thing of wings like that. It's a good sauce to put like on top of things, but I wouldn't do like you know how hot ones they pick up, it's the entire wing is covered in that sauce. Like I'm not sure if I would do an entire wing covered in Reaper. I might do a little bit of Reaper and butter and then mix the wings like that, so it's a little bit diluted. But yeah, Torchbearer, Grim Reaper, Garlic Reaper. Let's see, favorite brands of sardines. I've mentioned this before. It is the one from Sam's Club. I'll post the picture up. I never remember the name, but I don't know if they're discontinuing them. We talked to somebody the other day. They were like, they're not discontinued. They just haven't ordered them. But we went to one in the town that's northeast of us. We went to both of them in our current town because there's one on each end of the city, and they don't have them. So I think they're discontinuing them, and they lied to my fucking face, but whatever. But anyway, how I eat them, I do boneless, skinless, although I know it's probably a better idea to do boneless or bone in for the collagen, but for now, boneless, skinless, that's just what they offer. And it has to be in 100% olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. If you do it in water, you're going to run the risk of fishy smell, fishy taste. It's never good in water, I don't think, right? And it's got to be EVOO, extra virgin olive oil. That's where the flavor stays and goes, right? So the ingredients should only be a 3-ingredient can. Sardines, oil, salt. Okay? And then how do I eat it? I usually eat it from the can with a spoon or a fork, and then I slurp the olive oil. But I am keto, you guys. That's how I get my energy. It's the same as like if you guys were eating Doritos and you would pour Doritos down your gullet to get the little crumbs. Those are my little crumbs, okay? Those are my little crumbs. I suck down the olive oil from the sardine can. However, me and Melina and I were talking, people were asking us before, like, do you have any recipes for sardines? And I don't have a recipe, but I did try. So I poured the sardines with the oil in a bowl, and then I did some Kewpie mayo, and then chili crisp with like a lot of garlic. Like I have 2 types of chili crisp, well 3 now. But chili crisp with chili crispy garlic, and mix that up, and that was really good and fattening and like filling. So that's probably one way that I'll be eating it this week. What is the wildest thing you've ever done? Probably that. But what do you mean? Wildest thing I've ever done is probably some kind of a drug, right? I'm not gonna glorify that. Don't do drugs. If you need help, get help. Please don't do drugs. They're bad for you. You will die. You will die. The wildest thing I'm wondering if maybe you're asking about like the wildest fat thing I've ever done, and I would say probably along the lines of like going to multiple fast food restaurants just to get like specific things that you want. Like you want McDonald's French fries, and you want to go and get a Baconator from Wendy's, and then you want to go to Burger King for the chicken nuggets, and then after you eat all that, then you go to Dairy Queen and get the ice cream. Like things like that. Mostly around fringe beating, basically. I think that's it. Like I really haven't, like I don't have a ton of like, oh my God, that is such a fat thing for me to do. Except for, and if it is, it's surrounding my old beating recorders, so I don't really feel like they're crazy more than they're just like, that's just a disorder, basically. Let's see here. What, if any, fat acceptance bullshit do you think is actually right? I don't think that fat acceptance bullshit that I think is actually right. Fat acceptance bullshit that I think is actually right. It's hard. I don't think that a lot of it is right. I think a lot of it is 1, rooted in emotion, right? 2, these people have recorders that they're not treating, and they're glorifying, or they are definitely glorifying their lifestyle of being in a morbidly obese body. They're not going to live very long. I would say, sometimes they say sometimes they'll be like, just because I'm this fat doesn't mean that I have type 2 diabetes. And I would say that that's correct. I mean, not everybody who's fat has type 2 diabetes. Are you going to run into problems though? Like the longer that you stay in the fat body? Yes, I do believe that. But like, I agree that like you can't really look at somebody and diagnose them with a disease like type 2 diabetes. But I can look at somebody who's over 200 pounds and be like, that's not healthy, right? But other than that, I feel like a lot of fat acceptance, like they have a lot of stuff wrong. Like they get a lot wrong, and it's hard for me to find some of them. It's hard for me to even I have like a Pokedex of like every single thing in fat acceptance, and I just can't think of anything where I'm like, oh, you know what? They were actually right with that, I guess maybe when they say BMI is bullshit, do I think it's bullshit? No, but do I think that people use it in a way that's incorrect? Like, I do think that there are doctors out there who are probably looking at people with a high BMI and really not, and just seeing a fat person, whereas like they could, and I'm not talking about people with extremely high BMIs. Like if you have an extremely high BMI, you can probably look at that person and be like, okay, jelly rolls, black neck, clearly signs of insulin resistance. But I'm talking about like somebody who's like maybe on the middle, maybe somewhere where I'm at. Like I am still obese. Do I feel obese though? I don't know. But I've said before I know that I'm overweight. I've said before I have fat blindness. I'm proportioned. I don't know. I would say the whole BMI thing is like, it's a tool. It's important. I don't think that it's an end all be all. I think there's other things to look at as well, especially if you're if you're in the blurry area. Like if you're in the blurry area, like this person's obese, but they really don't look obese. Maybe give them a DEXA scan, something like that. Okay, I have a couple of new ones while we've been posting. My husband said every skinny person is a bootlicker. Oh my God, you're so dumb, babe. Okay. Boysenberry Bobcat. I'm not sure if you've ever said before, but I've always been curious if like the health issues you have, PCOS, etc., are those like lifelong issues, and is your keto like lifetime diet? You know what I mean? All that stuff is hella interesting to me. So yes, PCOS. At this point and moment in time, there is no real cure for PCOS. The best treatment for PCOS is weight loss. What sucks about PCOS is it causes weight loss to be extremely slow. And if a lot of the times with PCOS, you have insulin resistance. So is keto has been very, very helpful at helping me reverse my insulin resistance. I still have PCOS. I still think that I have impaired insulin sensitivity. Like yesterday, I talked about this earlier, but yesterday I had a big ass thing of ice cream with full sugar. Well, light, but I had sugar basically. And we went on a couple walks after. I did squats. I did standing exercises. I mean, it wasn't like anything like I wasn't sweating or anything like that, but I was not. I mean, it was just taking forever it was within a healthy range, but my blood sugar, it took a while. It took like 2 hours for it to get down to like still kind of high, but like better, and then it was like slowly rising again. So that was a little interesting and it's kind of scary. On paper, my insulin resistance has reversed, but I still can't just like willy-nilly have ice cream. But I did anyway because like once a month is okay. The problem is if you do it all the time and you have impaired, like if you've got insulin resistant PCOS, which I have, right? On paper, me cured, but this disease that I have can cause impairments with insulin sensitivity. So yes, keto is a lifestyle for me. And I mean, I cycle in between ketosis and not ketosis, but that's just like obviously when I do like a little cheat day, you know what I mean? Is it painful? Not as much. The longer you are keto, the faster you can get back into keto after you've had like carbs. So it's not as painful getting out of ketosis. The only thing, or getting back into ketosis, the only thing that kind of sucks is like you do get like a little bit of like brain fog and stuff. So tomorrow might be a little hard for me because we're going to be fasting. So that might be a little hard, but I do fast. After I do a carby day, I'll do like a low carb day, and then I'll do like a fast. It's usually a fat fast, but something to kind of get me back into ketosis to make me feel a little bit better. And sometimes that can give me like, I'll have to double check my electrolytes and make sure I'm taking electrolytes. And so I don't get like crazy brain fog or like exhaustion or anything like that. So there's to answer your question, yes, it is a lifestyle thing for me. And yes, PCOS is a lifelong issue. And also I have Hashimoto's, which I never disclose. I've never disclosed that I have PCOS or Hashimoto's. I do all the time. I have PCOS and Hashimoto's thyroiditis, and those are lifelong. I'm going to be probably on medication for my Hashimoto's for life, basically. And when I have flare-ups, usually when I have like a lot of dairy or gluten, I turn stupid. That's all I can say. That's like yeah. But yes, keto helps with that because keto also helps with like your cognitive and like your mental health. So ketosis, the ketogenic diet was actually like founded for like children with epilepsy, but what they're finding now with people like adults who have like problems with like ADHD or Hashimoto's, like, because Hashimoto's can cause like crazy brain fog. Yes, ketosis when you're first getting into it can cause crazy brain fog, but when I'm deep in ketosis, like, it's like I'm locked the hell in. Like, I'm locked in, baby. It's cool. I love it. I love ketosis. So, all right, now we're gonna go to my members post. Let's see here, and then we're gonna call it a day. So my members post, I just posted a picture of me and Angelica, and it says best friends. Can y'all see that? All right, so this one says, this is from Southern Bonita. Maybe an interesting question to consider or not. What is a hot take you previously had? What is a hot take you previously had that has evolved or changed since starting your personal journey? So a hot take that I previously had. So if you guys don't know this, I used to be carnivore. And I definitely fell into like what Alex would call like a Seraphite moment, where I was super dogmatic about it, and I was like, I'm pretty sure we're all meant to like eat this way. Like, I feel fucking great. And I did. That was like one of the most like seriously, guys, you might be like, Robin, you're still insane then. But listen, one of the healthiest times I've ever been in my life was when I was carnivore. And I was like, I wasn't even eating like nose to tail carnivore. I was literally eating like just beef. It was just ruminant meat, butter, fats, and like eggs. And I felt like, I don't want to say a goddess, but I felt, first of all, I was snatched. Second of all, I felt on top of the world. I felt unstoppable. I felt like it was like a limitless pill. But for me, it was sustainable because it kind of it was dogmatic, and it was getting a little bit just too much for me. And then personally, I love like fermented vegetables, and I love like kimchi, and I love mushrooms. That was the other thing too. I missed onions, and like I love tomatoes every once in a while. Like, I love veggies every once in a while. So like, just being like that person who was hardcore carnivore wasn't for me. And then I kind of like, the more I started reintroducing like plant matter back into my life and feeling fine still, and like now I feel better, probably, now that I eat ketogenic, like ketogenic feels better to me than carnivore. And you're thinking, well, Robin, you were carnivore, you were still ketogenic. No, sometimes you're not ketogenic on a carnivore diet because gluconeogenesis is a thing. And like, when you're eating a ton of protein, like your body has to like turn that into glucose basically. So I wasn't in ketosis all the time when I was on a carnivore diet. Then I like transformed to like a ketovore diet where I was just meat. I still am like meat based basically. I don't have a ton of sides, but I eat a lot of vegetables still. Like, I do eat vegetables. I do have plant matter. I don't want people to think that I'm like avoiding all carbs, including broccoli. No, I still have broccoli, right? I still have zucchini. I'm on a zucchini kick. I do mixed vegetables. I do edamame in my stir fry. We have salad. So and I eat berries, right? So me do it. Oh, and then I have almond oil. Like, or not almond. I do avocado and like coconut fat and do coconut milk and all that jazz. So it's not like, I have carbs. Okay, guys? Okay. But yeah, ketogenic feels a lot better to me than like just regular carnivore. But I also so I'm less like black and white. To answer your question, I'm less black and white about like about thinking there's like a specific human diet, and just realizing that like we all come from different corners of the earth, and like some people do way better with like low fat, some people do way better with super high protein, some people do better on a vegan diet, some people do better on a carnivore diet. We're different, and yes, we are the same, like, we're the same species, but like people's bodies just are different, you know what I mean? So bioindividuality, is that what it's called? Yeah. So that's the other thing. I'm just not dogmatic as like, I just used to believe there was one specific human diet, and maybe I would say maybe one thing that I know for sure in my heart of hearts is that like meat is king. Like, I do believe that humans do need meat. I'm so sorry if you're a vegan. I have no problem if you're a vegan or a vegetarian or whatever. My heart of hearts says that humans do need meat. And that's, we don't have to argue about that. If you're watching me, you know that I eat meat. You know that I eat meat. But we can still be friends. If you don't think so, I'm sorry. But my heart of heart says meat, yes. So, meat, yes. And If you had known back then what you know now, would you have pulled yourself out of obesity quicker? Yes, because what was the major driver for me to like completely stay out of obesity, to try my hardest to not be obese, was my cancer scare. So, and that was found from like me bleeding, and I had been bleeding like that, like super heavy periods since I had first started my period, and I was always obese. So I think that if I could go back in time to like me I remember my first super bad period was my freshman year in high school. If I can go back and be like, dude, you need to do something, like you need to stick to sports or something, you need to stop eating as much rice, tell your mom no more rice, tell her you want salad, and stop eating sugar, no more ice cream or something like that, because you're going to get cancer and you're going to die. I probably, I would have tried to pull myself out. So yes, to answer, yes, if I knew back then what I know now, I wonder where I could be. Like if I started eating lower carb in high school, where would I be? Where would I be now? I'd be snatched-er, because I'm getting snatched. I can feel it. I can feel myself getting snatched, you guys. Maybe you guys can see it. I don't know. Maybe. Oh, that was from Hello Kitty is on meth. All right, this is from the bestie Angelica Unfiltered. What are your proudest accomplishments? What are your proudest accomplishments? What are your proudest accomplishments? My proudest accomplishment, obviously, buying a house, right? So we bought the house. That was like one of our biggest dreams, was to be a homeowner, even though like I'm kind of ready to like, let's sell this bitch and go buy some land. That's our next goal, right? Getting married to my soulmate, biggest accomplishments, I would say too, digging in and actually and listening to you, Angelica, and being like, just go for it, right? Go for YouTube. And I'm having a ton of fun with it, and I can see myself doing this full time someday, maybe. Yeah, I would say those are my biggest accomplishments: homeownership, a happy marriage, and jumping into something that I've always wanted to do for like years and years and years, and just like, feet first, like, or head first, I don't know what the right thing is, going for YouTube. And that feels fun and good, and like I feel accomplished here. What is one of your biggest regrets? One of my biggest regrets, I would say not trying to figure out like the whole cancer stuff sooner. I think I tried my hardest to like fix everything with diet, which your diet is preventative medicine. It's not going to cure cancer, right? And I was having bleeding problems, and I was like, no, I don't need the IUD. I'm just going to like do this. Everything will be fine if I just eat keto and I'm just ketogenic. But like I would be ketogenic and I would lose weight and I would still be like bleeding for like 100 days. I think me holding out and just being stubborn was a bad idea, because obviously it just made the cancer grow more. So, or the pre-cancer. So that waiting too long to get a diagnosis to try and fix things, because it just slowed things down. You know what I mean? Also, waiting too long to get diagnosed with Hashimoto's. Like I remember just being tossed around and like asking my doctors for like specific tests, and then it took like until I was after maybe like 32, and I was like 32 years old, and I was like, can we get antibodies? Or can you like refer me to like an endocrinologist? And then when I found my endocrinologist, it was like my life changed. As soon as I got like on the right medication, the right dosages, and like somebody was like watching my thyroid, and we were like titrating it, like, checking levels and like perfecting the medication, and, eating a specific way, things kind of like fell into place. So I wish I would have found a good endocrinologist sooner and got my diagnosis for Hashimoto's sooner. Advice for a long and happy marriage: cheat. I'm just kidding. A long and happy marriage is communication. So it took a while for Michael and I to communicate. We have been married since we were 20, and we're 35 now. So, well, we got married when we were 20, and then like a week later I turned 21. So the year that we turned 21, we got married. We've been together for 15 years. We've been married for 14. So we got married 11 months after we met. It was like when we met, it was like, oh my God, there you are. I've been waiting for you my whole life, basically. And it was like I had known him forever, and then also we've been looking for each other forever, and and then the stars aligned and we found each other. I would say my biggest thing though is like, always talk, don't go to bed, angry, talk it out. we get to the point now too where we're just like, should we just fight about this right now? Like, let's just get it out. And we do, and then we're fine. You know, fights are not always bad. I mean, clearly if you're punching holes in walls, like that's bad. Don't do that. But like having an argument or like a debate or like a conversation that can get a little bit heated is not always like a bad thing. That's the type of communications that humans have been doing for millennia, right? So we have really good communication. My husband and I are open to each other about everything. We have zero secrets, not even around Christmas time. Like, it is very, very difficult for us to not tell each other what we got each other for Christmas or presents or anything like that. Be each other's best friends. Nobody's secret is safe with me because I will probably tell Michael right away. And he's a gossip queen. Okay, so communication is number one. Number one, communication. Number two, no, it's always communication, no matter what. If just talking, if something's wrong, like if you have something wrong with your sex life, talk about it. If you have something wrong with your money, talk about it. If you're concerned about your health, talk with your husband or your wife about it. You know what I mean? Communication. And yeah, that's like literally the only thing I can think about. Don't jump into anything without like your spouse knowing about it, right? Don't buy a house without your spouse. Don't buy a car without your spouse. Don't do any big decisions without your spouse. Because it's just going to cause a rift. It's just going to cause a fight. Always have your spouse in mind when you make a decision. Every decision that I make, I always think about Michael, you know, and he does the same for me, right? We always know where each other is at. We always have each other's back. That's the other thing too. Always have each other's back. Don't put your dirty laundry out there for everybody, you know. Your fights are yours, right? Don't put your dirty laundry out there for anybody. Always have each other's back. Even when I would say even when you know the other person's wrong. It's just, this is your person, you know? Call each other out when you're being wrong, though. Call each other out. And then, appreciating each other's flaws. Celebrating their high points, celebrating, you know, when you get to be 35, you don't really have a lot of like firsts with each other. So trying to find new firsts with each other is a good thing too. Unfortunately for us, that kind of is expensive because it means that we can only like travel to experience any type of first things with each other. But yeah, celebrating each other and supporting each other, you know, being okay with crying with each other or not crying. Yeah, mostly communication. I'm real big on communication. Like, talk about everything. Talk about what you ate. Michael and I still ask each other, how was your day? What'd you eat today? You know, like stupid stuff. We are always talking to each other. And then we always go to bed. We actually go to bed at the same time. I think that's important to us to go to bed at the same time, just because it's nice to be on the same sleep schedule. But also, like, we cuddle and hold hands and we chat in bed a lot. So we're each other's best friends. Talking is so important. Once you get bored and you guys don't talk and you're not laughing anymore, you know, try to fix it or it's over. So thank you so much for those questions, Angelica. All right. Was food ever a cope for you? And if it was, what do you do now to help with this crazy life? So yes, I did suffer from emotional beating, and it still kind of is a cope for me. Like yesterday, we kind of had a rough day. So that was like, let's cheat on our diet. So sometimes food still is a cope for me, depending, you know, on how bad the day is, or depending on how strong I feel, or if I can justify, you know, a cheat day or something like that. But as far as like, what do I do now to help with coping? I talk it out with my husband, or I text my friends, or I film a video. I feel like, or I edit. Like this is a good outlet, right? To kind of like talk to somebody who, even though there's nobody here listening or talking back to me right now, but like talk to somebody, talk about something. Editing is a nice way to keep your hands busy. Walking my dogs, petting my dogs, cuddling and kissing my dogs. And then obviously, I mean, I scroll. We all doom scroll. But sometimes it's doom scroll to like find, you know, content, you know, so it's research. Okay, so this person thought that I'm so sorry. I know it looks like we're going to do this episode together, but we didn't. Okay, this person says, did either of you see yourself doing YouTube in the future? I can't answer for Angelica. For me, yes. I always kind of thought that I was going to be doing something with And I was talking to my husband about this. I'm a little bit of a ham. I love to be behind a camera, and I always thought that I was going to be doing something on camera. So yes, I did always see myself being on YouTube or doing something with YouTube, even if that meant like editing for somebody else. Like if this doesn't ever fall out, I really hope that I can edit for somebody else and that be my job. All right. That was from Health Girl 777, and then sorry, the food cope one was from Stephanie Diamonds and Langyapi. And then the last one is from Honey Bison. So Melina says, top 3 meals. If you could only eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be? So my top 3 meals. So let's just imagine that we've got 2 different Robins here. So we've got Robin who eats carbs and then Robin who eats low carb or no carb, right? So Robin who eats carb, top 3 meals, treat and rice. If you don't know what treat is, it's like Spam, but it's like smoother and it has more sugar in it. So treat and rice. So a canned meat and rice, basically. Pizza. And yeah, treat and rice and pizza. I would maybe say bacon and rice, right? Rice. And then if I can only eat, oh, and then the low carb, no carb meat is going to say noodles. So like stir fry noodles, egg roll in a bowl. And I like these because you can change it up and do varieties, right? Egg roll in a bowl is the same thing as like stir fry, but it's cabbage based. And then the Quest pizzas, or like just like a keto pizza. Even though I can't have, dairy or protein or whatever, I can't do dairy. In this situation, I am having dairy, okay? I am having pizza. If I could only eat one meal for the rest of my life, as a person who eats carbs, it would be probably treat and rice. And then as a person who doesn't eat carbs, it would be my noodles. So I just love stir-fried noodles. It's the konjac noodles, so they're basically 0 carb. They're like barely no calories, basically. Like 1 pack is like 10 calories. And then you add your fats and your proteins and your veggies to it, and it's so filling because konjac noodles is basically just like undigestible starch. And then you also have like pretty great poops with it. So I love noodles. And you can do other things to it too. Sometimes I'll throw in an egg yolk to give me some good fat. Me like it. But yeah, so that is all of our questions. I hope that wasn't too long. I'm going to have to do a lot of cuts and edits and all that jazz. But I hope you guys liked that and enjoyed that. If you have any other questions, let me know in the comments below. I'll try to answer in the comments, or maybe I'll do a second episode of this. Who knows? I like it. I like to follow up every once in a while to kind of reintroduce myself. Again, if you made it all the way to the end and you haven't subscribed, consider giving me a subscribe. I hope you think that I'm cool enough for your subscription. And if you liked the video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you've made it all the way to the very, very end, leave a ballerina shoe, a point shoe, or just a ballerina in general, because I'm feeling so dainty lately. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Let me know, again, if you have any other questions that you want me to answer in another episode. Maybe I'll start to collect or do another post in the future. Thank you so much, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. Goodbye!
I love you.